Sarah's been sitting outside David's office for 23 minutes. She can hear him on the phone with another client, voice warm and charming. Of course, we'll get that sorted immediately. You're our top priority. She's holding a draft contract that took her 14 hours to perfect. 14 hours because the last 3 versions got torn apart in front of the whole team. Are you even thinking, he said, this is basic stuff. Do I have to do everything myself? The door opens. David's smile evaporates the moment he sees her. What now? He says. Like her existence is a personal inconvenience. Here's what Sarah doesn't realize. David isn't a god. He's not even particularly special. He's just a lawyer who learned intimidation is easier than leadership. And she's been trained. We've all been trained to treat his moods like weather systems we can't control. This is I Am the Advocate, and I'm LawBooBoo. Today we're talking about the biggest lie in legal culture, that some people are born to rule and others born to serve. That your boss's approval is the holy grail of professional validation. Your boss is not a god. They're a human being who's figured out that you'll work harder when you're scared than when you're respected. And the tragic part? We're often complicit in building their throne. But here's the thing about gods. They only have power if you believe in them. Before we dive in, how did the challenge go from the last episode? How many times did you name what you felt and state the reason for it instead of lying? I'm fine. Don't tell me the number. Just sit with it. You're listening to I Am the Advocate, where we stop worshipping at the altar of toxic leadership and start remembering that respect is earned, not demanded.
Segment 1, the myth-making machine.
Let me tell you the dirty secret about God-complex bosses. Most of the time, we create them. The legal profession is a myth-making machine that turns ordinary humans with partner titles into untouchable deities. Here's how it works. Listen to this story from one of you that sent it in to me. I don't know if it's applicable to everyone, but your self-confidence will take a nosedive when you become a lawyer. At least for me, it did. You're told as an associate that you matter the least, that you're disposable. You can't afford to be slow because slowness equates to incompetency. You beat yourself up for making that typo because why are you so stupid? Your self-worth becomes so locked up with your performance as a lawyer. There it is. The systematic destruction of your confidence isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature. When you believe you matter the least, you'll accept being treated like you matter the least. And when you believe you're disposable, you'll be grateful for any scraps of approval. This isn't about legal training, my dears. This is about creating a power dynamic where some people get to be gods and others get to be grateful for not being struck by lightning.
Another story.
The environment is toxic. Your colleagues will let you down more than your clients. The culture of bullying and disrespect starts from the top, and when I finally made my decision to leave, I was told I couldn't possibly be burnt out because I wasn't clocking in enough time. That's another story sent in to LawBooBoo. Notice what happened there. The boss didn't just dismiss burnout. He redefined it, really. You can't be burnt out because my metrics say you're not. That's not management, that's gaslighting with billable hour requirements. We built a culture where these people get to define not just your work, but your experience of your own life. Your exhaustion isn't real unless they validate it. Your worth is determined by their approval. But here's what I want you to remember. Their opinion of you is not the objective truth about you. It's just an opinion from someone who happens to have been promoted to partner.
Segment 2, recognizing the God complex.
So, how do you spot a boss with a God complex? It's not always the dramatic tantrums, though those are certainly red flags. Sometimes it's subtler. Let me share some of the stories you've sent me, and you tell me what you see.
The personal servant syndrome.
Listen to this one. The boss who treats associates and partners like servants who make coffee, and the coffee is rejected if it's not made just right. The boss who requires them to personally deliver documents to his home and makes them wait in meetings which he shows up to an hour or more late. This is not about micromanagement. This is about ritualized humiliation and dominance. The coffee tests, the personal errands, the forced waiting, they're all symbolic acts to remind you that your professional qualifications mean nothing in their eyes. It's a feudal God-king mentality. You are there to serve the whims of the ruler, not the work.
Core dysfunction.
Status assertion through menial tasks to reduce professional autonomy.
The gospel according to them.
Here's another pattern. Me staring at my screen, knowing that I didn't mess up, but still wondering if it's worth defending myself because I've been thrown under the bus for this. This is a classic gaslighting as governance. Facts are irrelevant because the leader's word becomes holy scripture. The boss positions themselves as the only valid narrator of reality, so defending objective truth is treated as heresy. This is a divine right of kings leadership style. They define reality, you obey it.
Core dysfunction.
Scapegoating and control via reality manipulation.
The complicity cult.
And here's one that really breaks my heart. Another story from you. The entire firm knows this problematic secretary, and she has a known history of harassing single female associates in the team, but no measure has ever been taken against her. So everyone knows there's a problem, but nothing changes because addressing it would inconvenience the person in charge. This isn't incompetence, it's a choice. The leader's comfort is worth more than your safety. The silence is not neutral, it's active complicity. Everyone bows down to the sovereign's desire to avoid inconvenience, even if it means enabling abuse. The empire survives because the courtiers protect the throne, not the people.
Core dysfunction.
Systemic inaction in the service of maintaining power structures. When obvious problems persist because fixing them would require them to act, they're telling you exactly where you rank in their priorities.
The devotion doctrine.
And finally, this gem that came in from you. The male bosses who complain when females get pregnant or who are mothers who don't want to go out for networking drinks at night. So people are now being punished for having families and for declining social events. This is punitive loyalty enforcement. Refusing to bend your life to the firm's social calendar? Expect exile. You have children? Expect to be treated as less committed, but of course, only if you're a woman. This is the God complex at its most insecure. Any proof that you have an identity outside the temple is an affront to the deity.
Core dysfunction.
Ostracism and career penalty for prioritizing personal boundaries.
Segment 3, the psychology behind the throne.
But why do they behave this way? Understanding the psychology will help you stop taking it personally. The first part is the fragile foundation. Most God complex bosses are actually deeply insecure. They learned early that intimidation gets results and that fear creates compliance. But here's the secret. Their need to control everything comes out of feeling out of control themselves. Think about it. Truly confident leaders don't need to micromanage coffee preparation. Secure people don't need to tear down others to build themselves up. The God complex is actually a defense mechanism for people who feel very small inside. The systemic enablement. And that's where we come in. The legal profession rewards this behavior. Billable hour culture, partner track pressure, client demands. It all creates an environment where results matter more than humanity. And then we, the associates, the junior partners, the support staff, we enable it. We work the all-nighters. We accept the verbal abuse. We say thank you when they throw us crumbs of approval. We become co-conspirators in our own diminishment. The Fear Factory. They've learnt that scared employees are productive employees. Anxious people work harder. Insecure team members don't ask for raises or challenge decisions. Fear becomes the management strategy because it's effective, at least in the short term.
Segment 4. Combat strategies.
Okay, so enough diagnosis. Let's talk solutions. How do you deal with a boss that thinks they're divine? Here's your tactical guide. Strategy 1, document everything. Start keeping receipts, not for revenge, for reality. Write down the contradictions, the moving targets, the impossible demands. Date everything, because gaslighting only works when you can't actually remember what happened. The email where they said one thing on Monday and another thing on Wednesday, screenshot it. The meeting where they took credit for your idea, write that down. The time they blamed you for their mistake, document it. You're not building a case, you're building clarity for yourself. Strategy number 2, the grey rock method. Stop being emotionally available for their drama. Respond with facts, not feelings. I understand you're frustrated. The deadline for this project is Friday. I'll have it to you by then. No apologizing for existing. No taking responsibility for their emotions. No feeding their need for control with your anxiety. Strategy 3, set micro boundaries. Yep, you can't change them, but you can change your responses. Start small. You can say, I'll get back to you with a timeline, instead of saying, oh, absolutely, I'll stay all night. You can say, let me check my current priorities, instead of immediately saying yes. You can say, I need clarification on that feedback, instead of assuming you're wrong. Practice the art of the sacred pause. Most emergencies can wait the 3 minutes it takes you to think about whether they're actually emergencies. Strategy 4. Build external validation. Stop looking to them for your worth. Connect with colleagues at other law firms. Join professional organizations. Get feedback from clients directly when possible. Build a network that reminds you of your competence outside their toxic ecosystem. Your boss's opinion of you is not the objective truth about you. It's just one person's perspective, and often a skewed one. Strategy 5, and yes, this will shock you. Plan your exit. This is actually crucial. Start planning your escape from day 1. Even if you don't leave, having an exit strategy gives you power. So update your resume, build your network, save the money, and know your options. When you remember that you could leave, you stop behaving like you're trapped. And paradoxically, that confidence often makes the situation more tolerable because you're no longer seeking their approval for your basic worth.
Segment 5. Litter box wisdom.
Your litter box wisdom for this week. Practice the mantra. That's interesting. When your boss has a meltdown, instead of thinking, what did I do wrong? Try, oh, that's an interesting reaction. When they make impossible demands, instead of going, how can I make this work? Try, oh, that's an interesting expectation. This simple shift moves you from victim to observer. You stop taking their behavior personally and start seeing it as data about them, not you. And always remember, respect is earned, not demanded. Leadership is demonstrated, not declared. Gods are made, not born. Your boss isn't divine. They're just human, and humans can learn better or be replaced.
Closing.
If this episode made you want to march into your boss's office and deliver some home truths, breathe. Document first, plan second, act third. But while you're planning, remember this: you didn't go to law school to become someone else's emotional punching bag. You didn't pass the bar to worship at the altar of someone else's ego. You are not a servant. You are not disposable. You are not lucky to be abused. You are a qualified professional who happens to work for someone who forgot that leadership is about serving others, not being served by them. Send me your God complex boss stories at LawBooBoo at Overit Club or I Am the Advocat on Instagram. Every story shared helps someone else realize they're not alone in the kingdom of fear. This is LawBooBoo, reminding you that the only deity worthy of worship in a law firm is the coffee machine. Everyone else is just human, and humans can do better. This was episode 2. In episode 3, we're talking about when stress becomes abuse and why the line isn't as blurry as they want you to think. Spoiler alert, if you're asking the question, you probably already know the answer.